The Smithsonian's had a long history with Kenya that actually began with Theodore Roosevelt's expedition. Smithsonian was the sponsor of that trip. And he left, I think, within a month after his term as president expired. He was getting depressed. Leaving the White House, he wanted something exciting to do, and took off on this next great adventure of his life, which is the way he described it. In popular history, his focus is very much on the history of the great white hunter sitting on a dead elephant with the big guns and this sort of thing, when in fact that wasn't the purpose of the trip. Much of what the American people first learned about the continent of Africa were letters that Roosevelt wrote back that were published in magazines and newspapers here in the United States. So some of the earliest glimpses of the continent of Africa came from Roosevelt's pen that was largely sponsored by the Smithsonian Institution. These were parts of the world that had never been seen before, or certainly had not been described to the American people. And the Smithsonian became the repository of many of those artifacts after the Roosevelt's return, Theodore Roosevelt and his son. The Kenya program at the Folklife Festival, in my mind, is an extension of that expedition, but bringing the life of Kenya to the mall and to the American people so they can experience it firsthand and close up. There's another interesting link between Roosevelt's expedition and the Folklife Festival. When we were searching for partners in Kenya to work with us to develop the program, one of the earliest that we met was called the Kenya Cultural Center, which is currently based right across the street from the old Norfolk Hotel, which was a colonial hotel built by the British more than 100 years ago. And then when I was in the Norfolk one afternoon, I noticed on the wall there was a photograph. It was a photograph of the place right across the street, and it was Theodore Roosevelt and his team is where they were camping, outfitting their team for the long safari they were about to take, which lasted for many, many months. So it was an interesting link to stand on the porch of the Norfolk, look across the street, and try to imagine Roosevelt's tented camp there, and then walk across the street to our small office there at the Kenya Cultural Center, which is where some of the earliest work for this program took place. It all seemed to come full circle.